All right, this is the third video on using Mathcad to create a square wave, and we've seen that we can use this setup right here to give us a square wave with a maximum value of 1, a minimum value of -1. If x were seconds, this would have a period of 2 seconds and a frequency of ½ a hertz. Okay, so that's not what we want. We were looking for to have a maximum velocity of 5. And we want a duty cycle of 0.3, and I'm going to let you figure out how to adjust the frequency, but let's at least get this into the form where it's a minimum value of 0, max of 5 with a duty cycle of 3. So how would we do that? So I'll go ahead and say V of t, and then the full colon gives that equal sign. And now we have to, you want to use the programming toolbar. So if I select add line, it sets up this toolbar here, this line. And so what we want to do is we want this to be equal to V max. And you don't want to type in if. It won't work properly if you do. You have to use the toolbar. So click on if, and now we'll give it the condition. And the condition is going to be t minus floor of t, right? And I'm going to use this Boolean toolbar, less than 0.3. And then if that condition isn't met, we want it to be 0. And then again, I'm going to use the toolbar to put in otherwise. Okay, so in other words, what we're saying is we want the voltage to be Vmax if t minus floor of t is less than 0.3. So in other words, like if t were 3.3 minus, let's say 3.2 minus floor of 3.2, that'd be 3. So that'd be 0.2. 0.2 is less than 0.3, so then make the voltage Vmax. But once you get, say, 3.4 minus 3 is not less than 3, so then it's going to drop to 0. So let's go ahead and plot that. I'm just going to go shift and the @ sign, and I'll put in t and then tab, and this is leave t. And I just want to, I'm going to make that crossed and then adjust. Maybe I'll make that 5 and that one 0. And we can go from 0 to 5. Okay, and I'll just expand that a bit. All right, so now we can see that the voltage, right now the period is 1 second, or the frequency would be 1 hertz, and you can see it's up at 5 volts for 30% of that cycle, drops down to 0. Right now at 1 second, it jumps back up to 5 for 30%, so 0.3 seconds, and so on. So I think it's a pretty easy step now for you to figure out how you can, we have Vmax and a duty cycle. You could also put in a frequency variable and then figure out what you need to do with this setup right here so that you can just put in the frequency and then just adjust your ranges so that, obviously if I put in a really high frequency, this will just be a big block of red. So you want to adjust the range here of values so that you can see the function clearly. So again, just to review, this is just an if statement, right? We set V sub t is equal to Vmax if this condition is met. Otherwise, set it equal to 0. Now what's really interesting is that we can also, I just did a Fourier series search right here, and let's see. And what you can do is set this up in Mathcad so you actually use a Fourier series, and as you add more and more terms, you can approximate a square wave with a Fourier series. But that's a topic for another day.